Okay, so this is going to be a video showing you how to take the outlines that we did yesterday and to turn it into a draft. So the first thing I want you to do is to take the paper you have, and I want you to fold it in half this way. And the reason you're doing that is because this is going to give you a great point to where you start the heading and such. So keep in mind that yes, we have our outlines from yesterday, but in addition to that, we also have our formats to follow. You will also have in a page protector on your desk an example of that. So the first thing on that sample for a friendly letter is to put the heading at the top. Well, I'm going to pause with that because in case we don't finish today and you don't get to your signature, I need to know whose paper this is, and I'm going to collect these at the end of class since they're not attached to your spiral and hold on to them and pass them back out tomorrow. So what I need you to do very lightly in pencil in the top left corner is to put your first and last name. Do not put my name, put your name. All right. So the next thing you're going to do is you're going to take that address that you should have filled out on that Google form, and if you don't have that memorized, that's totally fine. You're going to have access to see that I have a spreadsheet I have printed out on those that have filled out the Google form so far. I can give you that address as we're working, so you could just leave 2 lines vacant if you don't have that memorized. Once you get the address in front of you, you would simply fill it out like this. You put the number, and then the street name. Make sure you capitalize the abbreviations and the street name and put periods if you're abbreviating. First line is the street address, which has the number and the street name. Second line is the city, the state, which should be 2 letters, abbreviation, both capitalized. Don't forget the comma after the city. And then your 5-digit zip code. And again, if you don't have that memorized or have it with you, I can definitely give that information to you. As I walk around, I will carry the spreadsheet and give that to you. So just put 2 X's if you don't have that with you. Then you would put the date, and you should have December 12th, and your heading is finished. You skip a line and you go to your salutation. Your salutation needs to start right on the pink line. Capitalize Dear. And you can definitely put their nickname. I am not going to put my person's first name because I never called her by her first name. What I always called her was Mom Kissel. So I am going to put what I always called her. So nickname is totally fine. If you just want to put their first name that you normally call them, that's fine too. The comma goes after their name. Then you're going to skip a line, and you're going to come down and you're going to start your paragraph. And this is where we are using that outline we created yesterday right open in front of us, next to us, and I have mine open next to me as I work with you. So I start with a greeting. I indent my paragraph. Hi. And telling them who I am. And she actually knows me by my maiden name more, so I am going to put that in parentheses. So I just said who I am. Said hello, and I greeted them. Greeted her. My next piece on my outline is explaining the assignment, so I'm going to go right into that. I've got the teacher's perspective here. So what I'm saying is from the teacher perspective, so you won't be able to write my exact words, but you'll be able to put it from the student perspective. So where I say I've been working with my students, you can say my teacher's been working with me. I'm going to say with my 6th grade English Lang Arts, and I'm going to abbreviate Lang Arts. Her husband was a teacher, and then he moved into, I think he was an assistant principal, if I think correctly. So she's used to these words. She's been around them her whole life. So I'm going to abbreviate there. I've been working with my 6th grade English Lang Arts students on writing a friendly letter okay, hard to see my L there. This is the bad thing about pen. I chose to write to you for several reasons. I chose to write to you for several reasons. And then I'm going to have a sentence that tells those reasons. Or probably a couple sentences. So I'm telling her about how I was supposed to have done the birthday letter. And how I blew it. It's a compound sentence. I put a comma in there. And I'm going to do a little oops in parentheses, which is called a little pirate side conversation with my reader. And then I want to end with the other pieces. You're such a kind and caring lady who I have considered to be a role model for many years. And I'm going to, all caps for many. And I'm finished with my introduction. So I have several sentences there. And your outline will lend you to be there. You probably won't have as many as me because I tend to write a lot. I would expect you to have at least 3 sentences minimum. So I'm going to move on to my body paragraph. So I'll slide this up. And I do not skip a line. I just indent again. I'm going to line my indent up with an indentation above. And I'm going to move on to my body paragraph, which starts with memories. I'm just going to tell her I fondly remember her for many reasons. A generic sentence and then go into some details. When you have multiple things to say about a topic, it's good to have kind of a general sentence and follow it up with the details. Telling her about how I thought she was a great homemaker. And I'm talking about the past, but I want to acknowledge that I'm sure she still is. Making your house so cozy and welcoming to everyone. Whoops. I also want to finish up with my memory of her strong faith. Telling her that these memories have stuck with me through the years. Not finished with my body paragraph yet. First I started with my memories, and now I'm going to continue on right here, not indenting to a new paragraph because it's still the body paragraph, moving on to the update questions. So I'll start with grandkids and kids. I'm going to move on to a new piece of paper. So I'm not going to write on the back for me because it is in pen and you won't be able to see it. But for you, since it's in pencil, if you would like to, you can turn it over and write on the back. But if you prefer to do it on a new sheet of paper, that's fine too. So my sentence I just put in was referring to the fact that I was talking about memories, and she was a mom back then, but now she's a grandma. So I wanted to transition. So I said, now you are a grandmother to several terrific grandkids. How are all those grandkids doing? I just said grandkids, so now I'm going to use grandchildren to change my word choice. And I know she lives near some of them, so I'm going to make a note. And then I'm going to ask about her kids, which was part of my outline. All right, and I have a couple more questions to ask her. She takes a lot of trips. I want to know which one has been her favorite this year. She has a German Shepherd. But I want to ask, do you have any other pets? I'm remembering their dog and cat when I was at their house a lot, hanging out with Holly, and I'm checking in to see if I'm correct on their names. Finally, I'm going to ask her about her husband who just had a stroke. Instead of putting Harry, which I would never call him, just not something I ever did, it was Mr. Kissel or Dad Kissel. I'm going to say that. It's okay to use nicknames in a friendly letter. And just tell her that Holly was pretty hopeful when she texted me. Now, I just wrote a really long body paragraph, as you can see, but again, I love, love, love to write, and I have no problem with, like, you know, adding extra details in. I do not expect your letter is going to have a middle paragraph that big. I would expect it to be a minimum of probably 5 sentences, but it may be longer if you're like me and you just love to write and add details. So keep that in mind as you're going. We're moving to the conclusion paragraph now, and I'm going to start with the pictures I see here, the posts that I see her do on Facebook. So I'm telling her that I like that getting to see the pictures of family and vacations is fun for me. And last, her belief system posts are fun as well. I mean, I enjoy them. I'm going to tell her that I agree with all of her belief system posts. All right, and then I go into writing back and saying goodbye, so wrapping up my conclusion.